Complacent Badger.
I'm Re-AWOOO.
And we are watching Re-AWOOO-ken and Malal's Mashers.
I'm ready for this game, man.
90 team value difference.
Oh, so little.
Yeah, so that's Bloodweiser babes.
Yeah, easy peasy. And they're going to come in handy, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be some hits. So, this is two teams who, probably say it every time they match up, but two teams that started at the same time, two coaches who started at the same time, but have pretty different teams.
Right.
So we're going to see some interesting things this game, I hope.
Right, and based on what we saw last week, we had some really good play from both of these coaches that didn't quite end up succeeding. Specifically, the Mashers giving the ball to Ivan the Torrible on that last go to get a touchdown was a super good idea right up until it didn't work out so well. So let's see if we can't learn from that and either, hey, go for that again in a different way, or give that ball to a different player. Let's generate those touchdowns is what I'm hoping to see here.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened in this game, other than probably the ending score, but I do know that after this game he was pretty adamant about not using Ivan as a ball carrier anymore. So
okay.
So before doing a lot of the kind of walked everybody up, did one, I think he did a blitz, and then put double attacker down on himself on Ivan. Had previously used his reroll, so that was a turnover.
That's tough.
So, arguably not good priorities, but I don't know how much more he could have done.
Well, I think that the next move was to pick up the ball, but where would he have put it? Because there was no way that he could have a proper cage, right?
Yeah, I think he walked up kind of to zombies and things like that, kind of just feeding into what a zombie does. I mean, if you're strength 3 against them, then they're just going to stand there while you stand there as well.
Well, hello.
Yeah, so, yeah, wow. So, failed regen on that flesh golem real early.
Right, so that's damage back is a niggling injury.
Correct. But talking about these zombies, their whole point is just to tie you up. So if you just walk up to them, you're playing into their game. So you're ostensibly giving up your players who are 50, 60, or more team value to block a guy who's 40.
Right. And I fell into that. And I've had troubles with that before, where last season I got break tackle on my werewolves because that stupid zombie just stood there and took push after push after push after push after push. Knocked him down, he stood right back up. Knocked him down, stood right back up. So the only way for me to get away from that guy on an agility 2 player is to use his strength of strength 4,
Yeah.
So when I did that, I kind of learned my lesson. So everybody has to learn their lesson in their own way, but you make a good point.
Yeah, so we still see kind of the zombies one-on-one with Beastmen and him utilizing his positionals to break through the other Beastmen to get closer into the mix. The werewolf taking out that Beastman, this one just kind of standing there with this.
Right.
So
surprised that he's got the Chaos Warriors on the right side there.
Yeah.
Away from the ball.
Yeah. And then over here, he just threw a 2-die Ivan's Choice, and it was Defender Stumbles and Push. And this Flesh Golem does not have block. Oh, so starting with just a block against the Flesh Golem.
Yeah, I think that both of these coaches nobody is in an advantageous position right now. You know what I mean?
I think the Mashers are in a great position if they would just shift a little bit instead of just throwing block dice. Like, you have agility 3 across the entire team. Do something.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is you need to kind of sit back, take a deep breath, and reimagine what you're doing here, because you're not allowing your team to do well because you're kind of making rash decisions. You're using your big guy a little too much. when you don't need to. That's an off-ball situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just looks like we're right back to their first season, their first game, where it was just everybody adjacent to another person. It's just looking like, I mean, granted, they're not throwing all one dies anymore, but
Right.
it's ostensibly just like a little better. They're like a two die, a two die, a two die, a two die, and just no movement.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is, right from the beginning, that's what I'm looking for is what are you doing to make a touchdown? You got to be moving that ball closer to the end zone. Right now, it's a little too much like watching 5-year-olds play soccer.
Yeah, you got just everybody standing around. Even the person with the ball is just standing there.
Right. So let's look at, when you look at it like this and go, uh-oh,
And that's when
collarbone.
you get stupid shit like that is, Chaos Warriors getting injuries is when everybody's just throwing hundreds of block dice.
Right. So that's a point in strength. So that's
Well, he did apothecary it successfully to badly hurt and applied that.
yeah.
So the player will be back on the next drive.
Right. But
That could
4
have
turns and you use your apothecary.
Yeah, that could have been a season ender for that Chaos Warrior.
If he was on my roster, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, finally getting some penetration on the backside of that ball carrier where you need that because never any protection over there. So when you get back there, it means that you didn't have a full cage and you didn't really spread out your team too much. Too much wall in the front.
Yep. So doing a handoff to the Chaos Warrior, but then just stands there and realizing he has nowhere to go. He's going to be completely outnumbered. So tosses it to this Chaos Warrior. Had an easy dodge, but had already used rerolls previously. Nope. Used it for the pass, and then the dodge is what failed. Yep. So could have worked. Where did he use his blitz?
That's what I was just thinking right now. If he'd have blitzed through, he'd have been a much better position.
Yeah, because he could have, if he hadn't used his blitz, which, forgive us if we missed it. We were too busy hating ourselves and everybody else apparently. But could have done a standing blitz and just bounced away.
Right.
I don't know if that handoff to that was the plan the entire time, though, so it may not have been. So Ivan checking blitzes, Chaos Warrior checking blitzes. So this turned around real fast. Pick up with a partial cage, but cage is not finished.
Yep,
so
that's not.
Any one player can go in there and end that.
I'd have put both on the left, I think.
So interesting. Does the 2 go for it to get over there with the player that was really far away?
Let's see how this is going to turn out. I'm just...
And then...
Dodged in there?
Okay. No, 2 go for it. First one failing. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so he got the assist from the Chaos Warrior. Was the only reason that was a 2 die, because that werewolf was uncontested. So, yep.
Push there. Kind of watching to see what I don't know what's going to happen anymore.
All right, so the white dodges away. Should have been a fairly easy dodge, but bad rolls. But the bounce was good. So sticking to those 2 zombies and the werewolf, and the white didn't get injured or anything, so he'll be back up to cover that ball. And everybody else is kind of over here.
Right.
So throwing hits real early, keeping this guy as a safety, it looks like. Ivan pushing onto the ball. Didn't have much of a choice, though, because everybody was over there, and it bounces into the zombie's hands.
All right. So now what do we do?
So yeah, again, had no choice in that one, but that's just another example of bounces going horribly awry.
True. And he didn't need the assist of the character on the south end of that, right?
No,
Because
so
if he had not had that guy there, then he could have pushed the ball off or pushed the character off ball. Okay.
So Re-AWOOO can start by throwing a bunch of blocks over here on this side and mess that up on a 1 die with no rerolls left against a guy who also has block.
Right. So, now that the ball's on the ground, cap the ball. It's going to be 0-0.
Yeah, and then first move for this was using Ivan to do a 2-die against a character that would block. Not terribly risky, but I felt like I would have just done my blitz with somebody else with block or something.
Yep.
But so failed the pickup, have no rerolls left. Been using a lot of those for other means. So no rerolls, no pickup, so it means no score for the first drive. Ball went about 7 yards back and forth.
Yeah. Not a lot of ball movement. All right. So who's coming back? Failures on that. So that's everybody's where they're at, huh?
Yes. And it looks like we're going to stick 11 to 11 on this one. Yep.
So that means that there's three out on Re-AWOOO-ken's side?
Two, and then he's got nobody on the sideline.
Okay.
Mashes have 11. The necromantic have 11, and we are starting. Interesting setup with these two werewolves. Right side is very weak right now.
Right.
And opts to go strong on the side that Ivan the Torrible is on, and Chaos Warrior on the wing over here. So yeah, it appears it went strong against his strong side, despite setting up after.
Right. So blitz checks all day long.
Yep. Just seeing what he's capable of doing.
I mean, if you can.
All right, and then opts to do a 1-die into a frenzy 1-die, and
Yeah,
manages
that was
to
that guard though.
Yeah. So managed to knock out the was that in fact the guard beast?
No,
the
guard was on the Chaos Warrior.
Got it. Or the white, you mean?
No, I think the Chaos Warrior for sure.
Zerch only has
no?
block, yeah.
Hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure the Chaos team has only block and Mighty Blow across the team, except for like strength bonuses.
Okay, well then. Yeah, they are a pretty terrifying team, huh?
Yeah, they're just a couple steps from being really good at hitting, so you gotta kind of focus on the other parts of the game before you can only focus on hitting.
Right. So that's what I think that Re-AWOOO-ken needs to be paying attention to is the high movement value that they have, and they don't need to be playing a punchy game. So by choosing to strength up the strength side instead of using a blitz on a character that you could have done something with and made a hole, you don't really have a hole on that side.
Yeah. Again, went strong on the strong side, so having to invest a lot to take out the strength 4 character that was right there, and so.
But hey, if you're gonna do it, do it.
So
he's got through and he's got bodies. So let's see how he makes that into a touchdown.
Yeah. So he checked the blitz over here, but then opted to do some free pickups first. He has a couple free moves that he could do. This isn't going to be enough to stop. So defender down on this werewolf. Sidestep. You really have sidestep? Oh, pushed him into the ghoul and then didn't look to see what the ghoul had. And the ghoul utilized the sidestep to get a little even closer in.
Good choice.
Yeah, that was beneficial to necromantic, not so much to the chaos team.
Yep.
I was like, I didn't think his werewolf had sidestep, but then yeah. Sometimes when it goes
games where I'm a half step behind.
Yeah. There's just no obvious plan for us to assume.
Right.
So brings a character over here that makes it a little bit more difficult for him to get through, but this is a character with. So despite rolling a defender stumbles, he applies the push.
He just trying to clear that? Why would it be able to push him anyways?
That was a
misclick.
I mean, that's a pretty critical misclick. Huh. So yeah, that would have been a perfect lane to go get a touchdown. It had enough movement to do it. It would have been a 3+ dodge with a free reroll. So yeah. So sidestep onto the ball. Ball bounces into the beastman hands, but it drops. Beastman then. Why would you sidestep onto the ball? Rotates around. What's he gonna do? So he's gonna stand there. Has nobody to support him.
Not yet. He's got.
That was.
Nope.
I mean, that
Still,
was. Yeah.
nope.
Why? Why did he blitz over there?
I don't know.
This guy.
These are all good questions.
I need
I might.
I need an adult. All
I mean,
right.
Hail Mary. I think that's what's going to happen next.
Did
I don't. I mean,
Did he just? He threw a 2-die his choice against Ivan. Or maybe not Ivan. Maybe it was against the Chaos Warrior. It was against somebody. 2-die opponent's choice. I think the necromantic team wins the award for throwing the most uphill dice.
yeah. That's. I mean, we've seen it before.
He just doesn't care. He's like 2 dice. That's what I'm aiming for.
I think that I talked him into that very early about them zombies.
He's got a Chaos Warrior over here that is free to move and then hand off the ball with no problems if he would have just chucked it at him with his hand. Alright.
Does he have hands?
Yeah, look at him. He's got 2.
He's got one on either side of his arms.
Yeah.
There it is.
He could have just thrown it. And then he could have just gone. And he could have handed it off to him and he could have touched down. And then he didn't.
Okay.
Oh man.
As long as he didn't.
So the flesh golem attacking this guy was the most important play to be made. So obviously the first step that we take in this whole thing. Werewolf, guy with frenzy, going in there, getting all the 1-die.
Yeah.
'Cause fuck it, man.
He's deep. He's deep.
Yeah. So, and that was the one safety on the team. Of course we bring him forward.
I don't know what to do now.
Man, is the answer be awesome?
Yeah,
'Cause-
the answer should be awesome.
So,
I'm still waiting on a Hail Mary.
So yeah, he throws the. And is he thinking about re-rolling? I wouldn't re-roll. Okay, good. So double block. Wee. Just all you can do. You can't. I don't know, man. You used your block. You used your blitz over here for a reason. You got him.
Okay.
I don't even know what you do in these situations. How is it possible that both players have no good options right now?
It's. Yeah. I mean that is a fair question because this is one of those situations I don't think I've ever gotten myself into, so I don't know how to get myself out of it.
And he 1-dies.
Guard's good.
He does 1-die and then makes the situation better, worse. I mean, and then
Define
1-die, just chucking them. If I roll a bunch of them, they don't count as 1-die anymore, right?
I just. Here's the question.
You know what? Before
with
you ask the question,
okay.
at least he threw his first block against the ball carrier. Continue.
I'm having trouble trying to figure out how, with the obvious strength advantage that the Mashers have, that they aren't in a better situation.
Yeah, it's boggling my mind that this one guard guy can turn all these strength 3s in, like, these guys are strength 3 and then everybody else around them are strength 4 and it's one guard guy demolishing it. And this guy's just been back here. Tussle the Crusher's just been back here like me in the backfield of a football game, just going, pass it to me. I know I can't catch, but just try. I'll pick it up.
Right? You are absolutely the guy to roll a 1 on a going for it in real life.
Oh yeah.
Broken ankle.
I've done it, man. I caught a ball on the run and then like lost my footing and fell forward And I had so much force that when I came down that, and I was still clutching the ball to my chest, so I couldn't catch myself. That I did a head, I say a headstand because I was on my head, and
Yeah.
it like hurt my neck so bad because I was balancing on the top of my head for a good 5 seconds, and then I just crumpled.
Did you try to go for a head spin? Did you just B-boy it up, or did you
No,
just?
I tried to go for focus so that you don't break your neck in this fun game of football. Like and in that moment, I gained Blood Bowl clarity on how a go for it could be failed.
That's that's exactly how it happens.
It was terrible. Much like this game.
Mm.
Wow, man. For Malal's Mashers, you have a strength advantage. You have the same agility as the opponent. The only weakness that you have is slightly lower movement. And I say slightly because he's got 2 guys with 7 and 2 guys with 8.
Right.
You have a lot of guys at 6 and a couple guys at 5. So really this, other than like maybe 1 or 2 players, the one guy with guard, maybe the one guy with sidestep, this was kind of your game, I thought, because you could kind of outpower him, and that's where the necromantic have really been focusing their game last season, and this season is really hitting.
Right.
But yeah, opted to lose all Blood Bowl basics and kind of just not do much.
Yeah, and that's the level of disappointment that I have, is that there were too many turns where you weren't moving the ball, and I get that. There are times when you don't move the ball, but when you don't move the ball, you need to be creating a situation for the ball to move in the future. So I didn't. The vision wasn't there, and the good use of that strength, because you definitely have so much strength advantage. That it really shouldn't have been a problem. And then you go on the Re-AWOOO-ken side and think that it was a lack of priority on the on your choices was a big deal. Getting tied up when you didn't have to was a big deal. And then there's just a whole lot of both sides were just in situations where nobody could really move, and you get in those situations sometimes, but the way to do it is to think your way out of it. Don't just start throwing dice for funsies. Really, like, have a plan. I need to get an assist over here. Is it worth a dodge? I mean, if I got a 3+ dodge, then I could take a dodge and get a 2 die and maybe push and create a waterfall. Those are the kind of systems of movement that you need to look at. But I didn't really see any of that where it was just, one guy, 1 die.
Yeah, for the Masters, I have never seen you have such bad priority. That was impressive, and it wasn't that it was like just terrible. It's not the worst I've ever seen in priority by far, but I've just never seen you struggle with priority like that. And I don't know if it was because you got bloodthirsty or you got fed up, but you need to just goose fraba that. Look, take a second and get back to your priorities.
Yep.
For the necromantic, and this kind of goes for both of you on the second point, I don't think either of you had a single plan. I never felt like at any point was there a cohesive strategy. And
I'll back you on that. I didn't really, and I'm pretty good at least having a general idea of where the ball's going to go or how the ball's going to get there, but I never saw that.
yeah, if both of us are for 10 turns just going, what? Like, that shows that you're kind of just throwing dice at each other and hoping it sticks.
Yeah.
Game, and I hope we will see you guys next time. Good luck next week.
Later.
Bye.